In this video, I'm going to show you how to take control of the pricing conversation for your home cleaning business with 4 simple steps that keep clients engaged and excited. This will make sure you don't get ghosted, don't get talked down on pricing, and don't get stuck defending your price. Let's jump in. So throughout this video, we're going to talk about things like scarcity and urgency, setting clear expectations at the point of sale, reaffirming why they reached out by discussing their pain points and connecting that to their dream outcome, and then offering a clear next step to secure the deal and secure the credit card in the sales process. And before I talk about all this, I want to jump into a story that sets the scene, if you will. When I was growing up, I played a lot of games like World of Warcraft, RuneScape. Even now, I play a lot of phone games. And all of these games had something in common. They had these things called daily quests. You would log on, you would have to do these things every day to get rewards. And at the end of the day, they reset. That was urgency. Urgency is a function of time, and you have a deadline, and if you don't get it done by that deadline, you're missing out on the potential rewards. And that's what showed up in these games to influence the behavior of all the people playing these games. In addition to the urgency, they had scarcity. You'd have pop-up rewards, pop-up offers, pop-up events, all of these things that only happened for a set amount of time, only took a set amount of players, and had a deadline function to them so that you got in before it was too late. In addition to the scarcity and urgency that these games popped up, and it's really silly, it would be attached to like getting some sort of gear to level up your character, or participating in some event to get some special emote or headset or rank in the clan, whatever it is. All these things, though, influenced our behavior. And in addition to the scarcity and urgency, they tied the pain points we were experiencing in the game, which is we sucked, our character sucked, to the dream outcome we wanted, which was to be good, to be at the top of raids, the top of the guild, etc., etc. Basically gain status amongst your peers. And so games did a really good job of this on 13 and 14-year-old players. And similarly, in our home cleaning businesses, we want to use the same tactics to make sure that we are set up for success and influencing our customers' behavior well. So the first step to taking control of the pricing situation is clear expectations. Now you may be asking, when do I set these clear expectations? Well, there's something in the sales process Alex Hormozy calls this closer. It's his framework for closing sales. And the C, let me just write out the acronym right quick. So first you set context, then you're going to label, and then you're going to overview pain, and you're going to sell the vacation, then you are going to explain away concerns, and then you want to reinforce the decision. So, Alex has plenty of videos on this. We're going to take this into the context of a home cleaning business, and you set the clear expectations by setting the context and labeling their pain, so that they know kind of what the conversation is about. Walk them through what's included in your process when you set the context, you label, and you start to sell the vacation. So part of setting clear expectations is focusing on the C, the L, and the S of this process. When they're coming into the call or when they're coming into your landing page, you want to make sure they have a clear context of what dream outcome they're getting. We need to establish why they're here. And then you want to label the pain that they're trying to get away from so that they feel understood. In the context of a landing page, this can be the headline, the subheadline, and some of the copy on the page. In a call, this is you saying, hey, why'd you hop on the call today? Or I noticed you filled out the form. Was that to X, Y, and Z, get a clean home so you can host more people? And then you want to label it, be like, right now your home, it seems like your home feels crazy because you have 3 kids running around and there's food everywhere all the time. They'll be like, yeah, that's right. And then when you're selling the vacation, you get really clear with the expectations. Well, we do a 3-hour clean, and during that clean, we touch on X, Y, and Z. And you typically want to do this in like a 3-pronged situation. You don't want to go into detail. You just want to hit the big dream outcome drivers that they want to hear. Hit the big 3 points, move on. So that's how you set clear expectations. In this closure sequence, you focus on setting the context, labeling their pain point, and so it's like, okay, we know where they're at, now let's tell them where we're taking them, and that's selling the vacation. I think that's a great way to set clear expectations, and then that takes us to the second step of really taking control of that pricing situation, which is scarcity and urgency. And basically, guys, everybody has scarcity and everybody has urgency in their business. For example, if I gave you 100 homes to clean in the next 8 hours, you probably wouldn't have the staff to do it. You might only be able to take 10 homes. So when you have an actual limit on your service business, that's what you want to tell people. In all your advertising, all your marketing, all your sales conversations, be like, hey, I have 7 more calls like this today, and we can only take 8 people this week. I'll have 56 calls before the end of the week. So if you don't decide, we might not be able to get to you until 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You just have to make sure that when you're selling the vacation, it talks to their pain points that you labeled so well that that scarcity, not being able to experience the service that you're offering, will push them over the edge. So true scarcity, that's the goal here. It's like, how many people can you take and in what amount of time? That's the urgency. It's like, hey, we can only onboard 8 people per week. It's like, if you want your home to be clean by the end of the week, we can't take you unless you sign up in the next 24 hours or something like that, because your calendar gets booked on average in this time. And so with scarcity, with urgency, you're just communicating the honest limits of your business and making sure those people, the prospects that you're talking to, understand it. Because when they do, it'll influence their behavior after you've set the clear expectations to their pain points. They'll just want to move forward and they won't want to miss out. So the third step to take control of the pricing, taking control of the pricing conversation. First, you set clear expectations with the closure process. Second, you speak to scarcity and urgency that is true in your business. And the third thing is you want to reinforce why they reached out. Reinforce the reach out. So this is kind of similar to step 1 in that it's part of the closure process. But this is going to be overview past pain and then explaining away concerns. So right here we're going to put overview pain. That is the ugliest I know, man. Overview pain. And we're going to do past concerns. Or explain concerns. Explain away concerns. Forgive my handwriting. So when you're reinforcing the reach out, you basically want to make sure they feel heard, which is a very simple way of telling you to listen in the conversation. You don't want to be shoving your quote down their throat, shoving your pricing down their throat. You want to be asking questions, because the person who's asking the questions is taking control of the situation. And so when they're coming to you and you set the context by asking them why they jumped on the call or the headline of the landing page or whatever it is, and you start to label their pain points by asking the questions like, what have you tried before? How did that work for you? That's when you get into overviewing their past pain. You start asking details once you get the label correct. So it's like, it seems like you want to clean house because your 3 kids are messing up all the time and you're hosting your mother-in-law next week. Does that sound about right? And they're like, yeah, that's actually exactly why I want to clean house. It's like, what have you tried before? And they're like, well, I always try to clean it myself, but then my kids do this and that, and I can't cook dinner and this, that, and the other. You want to just hear that, understand that, and kind of repeat it back to them. So they're like, yeah, that's what I tried. It's a summative statement. So it's like, this is what they tried. This is how it worked for them. It's like, oh, so in the past you tried to clean it yourself, but that didn't work because your kids needed more attention. And they'll be like, yep, that's right. That's reinforcing the reach out. They'll understand. They will feel understood. You'll understand why they're there, and then you can connect that better when you're selling the vacation, either on the landing page or in the call. The fourth step to taking control of the pricing conversation, so we're going to set clear expectations with our context, with our labeling, and with selling the vacation. We're going to communicate true scarcity and true urgency based on our limits as a business. How many crews do we have? How many homes can we clean? Then we're going to reinforce their reach out by making them feel heard and understood by overviewing that pain that they've experienced before when they tried to solve this problem, and then explaining away their concerns when they're like, I don't know if I want a stranger in my house. Oh, actually, you'll have the same cleaner the whole time you're with us. So on and so forth. Having a bonus for each objection that they come up with. And it can either be a bonus that you charge more for, or just a bonus that is offered with your services. The next thing you want to do is step 4. To take control of the pricing conversation, you want to have a clear next step. So this is simple, but this is the call to action, and a lot of people don't know how to make the ask, or they leave it up in the air, and then sales get away from them. And so on a landing page, that clear next step might be a book now button. And they're literally going to book their time to clean, and then that's going to take them to a payment page, and you're going to collect their card information there. A clear next step on a call might be, great, we can come clean your house after you've gone through this whole process of closure, and you're reinforcing the decision here at the end. It's like, great, we can come clean your house tomorrow at 2 or the next day at 4. Which do you prefer? And they're like, oh, neither of those times work. Let's get this time. And then you book that time, and you either say, do you want to pay with the card on file? If you were smart enough to take the credit card in the beginning of the application process, or you ask for the credit card and be like, okay, which card would you like to use to pay for that today? So on and so forth. And so having those clear next steps of like, we're going to show up here, you're going to pay now, and here's the 3 things that you can expect when we get there in the first 15 minutes of the clean, like that helps move the relationship along and gives you an opportunity to build brand trust with your customers. So those are 4 steps to taking control of the pricing conversation. And I have a bonus for you guys, because the scarcity and urgency might be like, I don't want to turn clients away. I need to take all that I can and figure out a way to fulfill it. But when you communicate true scarcity and true urgency, it's helping set you up to increase price. Because with supply and with demand, if you can blow your demand out the water and you have a constrained supply, you're able to manipulate price and still take 10% of your demand. It still is like operating at max capacity, but you can 10x the price. And so to create this true scarcity and urgency, you need to have leads banging at your door. That is the key. And to do that, you need to advertise. So when you're thinking about how do I take advantage of this scarcity and urgency, it's like, oh, maybe I'm only getting 1 or 2 leads a day. I can actually fulfill all those. You need to take that to 50 leads a day. You need to take that to 100 leads a day. And the way you can do that is the core 4 by my boy, Alex Hormozy. One-to-one warm outreach, one-to-one cold outreach. You can cold call, cold text, warm call, warm text, warm email, cold email your clients, your current clients and past clients, or future prospects that you find on Facebook or Instagram. Or you can make content of you cleaning people's homes and put that on social media and be like, we'll do the same for you. First one's free on us. And then people will opt in and you message them that way. Or you do a bunch of ad spend. And the question is, how much of this do I need to do? And it's however much you think times 10 or times 100. Like you need to be doing 100 outreaches a day to maybe get 1 lead. So if you want 50 leads, you need to be doing 5,000 outreach attempts a day, which means you're hiring a team, you're scaling outreach, you're scaling content, you're scaling ads. But to make scarcity and urgency real, that's where you want to hone in. Hone in on the advertising. There are plenty of people that want their home cleaned and they want you to do it. They just need to know who you are. And most people probably don't. So the more you get known, the more the scarcity and urgency will become real, and then you can start to take real strides in your business. Now, I want to make all of this personal for you guys. What happens? How do you take control of the pricing situation in your business today? So, the first thing you do is create the funnel. You want to know how you're talking to people and at what step you're going to implement what solution. So the first thing is probably for most of you, creating an advertisement, either on Facebook or Google local service ads or whatever it may be. That advertisement goes to a landing page. So we'll write here, add to landing page. LP stands for landing page. After landing page, they're gonna get their lead magnet. LM stands for lead magnet. So add to landing page to lead magnet, which is typically a free or cheap clean. So after you've gone add landing page to lead magnet, they're gonna have an opt-in. This is where you get contact info. CI stands for contact info, and then you're getting an upsell opportunity. This is all just on a website right now. Add landing page, which is a website. They opt in for their lead magnet, which is where you get the contact info, and then they go to an upsell page. If they fail to purchase the upsell package after claiming the free or cheap clean, you're going to complete the application on the phone. So after first upsell, you go to phone call. PC stands for phone call, and then you go to upsell, and then you go to drip. Sorry if you guys can't see that, but the whole process is add to landing page to lead magnet to contact info to upsell on the landing page to phone call to upsell on the phone, and then if they reject that upsell on the phone, you go to drip. If they don't go to drip, it's because they bought, and if they bought, you go through your onboarding process, which we'll discuss in future videos. So that's kind of the funnel. And you can set up that funnel just by, this whole process might take you 1 day to set up. And I mean, writing the ad, writing the landing page, creating the lead magnet, which is just a free or cheap clean, setting up the CRM to get their contact info, setting up the upsell landing page, to getting the phone call script, to getting the upsell script, to setting up the first 4 emails of the drip campaign. That's probably 16 hours of work. So this is how we make it personal to you. You create that whole funnel, and then you implement this structure in a day or 2 of training your team. So 8 to 16 hours to create it, 8 to 16 hours to train your team on it, and you start to add real scarcity and real urgency by just deciding how many cleaning appointments you can fulfill in a regular week, and then how much advertising activity do I need to do to produce 2x that number of leads. So now I have real scarcity, real urgency. And once you figure out that advertising number, you advertise a lot using the core 4 so that the scarcity and urgency are real. To make this super real, create this funnel in 8 to 16 hours. Train your team on it in 8 to 16 hours. Add real scarcity and urgency by advertising for the first 4 hours of every day. If you can do those 3 things, create the funnel, train the funnel, and advertise for 4 hours per day, you'll blow your leads out the water, and you'll be focusing on how do I hire great people as the next constraint of your business. And that's where we want to get to you to, so we can help you do that as well. So that's what we got for you guys today. You don't need to avoid pricing conversations. You need to control them. And you can use these 4 steps: setting clear expectations, taking advantage of scarcity and urgency, reinforcing the reach out by overviewing their past pain and explaining away their concerns, and then having a clear next step in a call to action, a purchase decision, and a booking activity to build trust and book more clients at the rates you deserve. So you guys know why we're doing this. It's not just to help you make money, although everybody does like to make money. We're on a mission to help 800,000 entrepreneurs hit 2 million plus per year in profit without sacrificing their values, so that they can take half of that money, fund an endowment, giving $1 million a year to that endowment that lifts the standard of living across the world to middle class America, so that everybody has more than enough food, shelter, water, and safety. That's the big goal. We're trying to build a big community that does that. If you're just here to make money, take the tactics, make the money. If you're here for the mission, take the tactics, make the money, so that we can contribute to the mission and go forward on this together. Hope to see you guys on the next one. If you have any feedback for me, leave a comment below with topics that you want to hear about later. Subscribe to the channel, and we will see you on the next one.